Good evening and welcome to another Monday Night Live at Cafe Gratitude. Yay! Thank you guys for coming out. This is our final panel in the October month of panels. We've got our Raw Chef panel number 2 with quite an incredible lineup here. I'll introduce everybody in just a moment. I'm sure by now I recognize, has anybody not been here before? Oh wow, a couple people. Hi, my name's Shea. And I organize this event, and my husband, Steven, also helps to organize the event. Woo! Yes, it's new. So, the only thing I want to say about us in particular is that we do actually have a newsletter. It's right here, and this is going to live right over here. If you sign up for the newsletter, basically what you get is once a week, you get a 5-minute audio interview with the next week's speaker to see if you're interested in coming out for that. You also get a video link to see this last week's video, because we video all the events, and you also get a URL for the entire past speaker archive, and we've been doing this every week since January 12th. So by the time we end at the end of November, we'll have like 46 events. So please, for sure, I'm keeping them up till the end of the year, then I'm not sure what I'm doing with them, so make sure you sign up and get a chance to watch all the videos. And if you're out there somewhere else in the world, watch all the videos you've been putting off, because they may not be there at the end of the year. Let me introduce tonight's panel, and then we're going to do questions, and I want you guys to know these are questions that had been originally mailed in or emailed in from people. It's what I asked on the first Raw Chef panel, and I'm trying to get all the questions to match, because we're making an ebook out of this. And if you didn't know that because you're new, we're making an ebook out of every panel we had this month, and every participant of the panel has also contributed bonus material. So for the Raw Chef panel, we've got 11 chefs who have participated, and they've each donated 5 recipes, and it's daily life sort of recipes. So tonight's panel, Raw Chefs 2, it is, again, called How the Top Raw Chefs Really Eat. And I've got the top raw chefs. It's completely amazing. I've got Miss Elena Love. We've got her books right over here. We've got Miss Jerry Hasty. She owns Seed, which is Santa Rosa's raw restaurant. Brenda Hinton, who's new to the Raw Chef gang, but doors, possibilities, opportunities. It was the right moment at the right time, because she got her chef hat, and a minute later she's flying to Japan to teach classes. We've got Mr. Matt Samuelson, the head executive chef instructor at Living Light Culinary Institute, and also the creator of the Golden Bean and other products, which is a chocolate bar, other amazing raw products. And Miss Melissa Mango, also an author, incredible recipes. My favorite thing about Melissa's work is that she specializes in actually making things delicious and gourmet without focusing on all the heavy fats and oils, and just keep making it healthy for your body as well, not just doing what they do here. Okay, so that's it. Edit that. Okay. So all of these questions turned out to be kind of run-on questions, and I apologize for that. So we'll start with Elena. Okay, it's a long one. So how did you discover raw foods? How did you become a raw food chef? And what are you doing with that now?
I discovered raw foods 12 years ago, and the way I discovered it is I was suffering with candida and a host of other things going on in my body, not feeling great at all, and I sent a little prayer out to the universe saying, please help me, because I don't want to live this life of taking drugs and trying to, just like never healing. And so I found a book called Cleanse and Purify Thyself. Has anybody read that one? It was an amazing book, and he talked about eating a raw food diet. There were no recipes in it, of course. It was just like what not to eat, and kind of like eat some raw foods. But I did his 30-day cleanse, and I ate really simple raw foods for the first month, and it completely transformed my life. Completely changed like the way I felt. In 1 month, I was a totally different person, and I was hooked. So from there, I started just finding any recipe book I could get a hold of. Now, 12 years ago, there was no Cafe Gratitude. The only restaurant that existed was in San Francisco, Giuliano's, and I lived down in Los Gatos, so it was a good hour drive. I would rope anybody I could into driving up there and eating, even if they weren't raw foodists. I'd be like, I'll stop for a sandwich on the way back, I promise, if you don't like it. Like anything to get some raw food that wasn't, something I made. But then I just kept making the food, and I found out I was really good at it, and I was making it for my husband at the time, who wasn't so into raw, but he actually still liked the food I was making. And then my community kind of started to find out what I was doing, and they requested that I make the food for them. So that was the next thing. I started catering and making raw foods for my San Jose community, and then they wanted the recipes. And I was getting emails from people all over the country saying, well, we can't eat your food, but can we have your recipes? So that inspired me to start typing up all my recipes, and that was a long time ago. And since then, I've just been perfecting the recipes. And my business has really grown over the years. I started a company called Pure Joy Planet because I felt so much joy, especially when drinking green juices. I felt really like, when you're alkaline, how much joy you feel. And I found that the key is really the green juices for me is just like, even now, like it feels like drinking a cup of coffee. Like I'm just like, wow, I feel high. And so I have a company which is an online store. I sell all kinds of raw food products, books, and information. I teach classes on how to cleanse and detoxify. I do a 21-day cleanse class. I do a gallbladder flush class where I do retreats up in Mount Shasta, and live telecourses on the telephone. You can call in and we'll cleanse with you over the phone. I teach classes. I'm teaching up at Living Light right now. I guest chef up there, so I'm teaching this week. I'm teaching their raw fusion cuisine and ethnic cuisine. So I'm a busy gal. I fly all over the world. I go to Bali. I go to Costa Rica. I go to the East Coast. I've been invited many places, and I love my life. I cannot think of anything I would rather be doing. It's really great to have the feeling of I love exactly what I'm doing, and I'm happy every day to get up and do what I do. That's what I'm up to.
People are wondering if you can stand up when you... Oh, sure. Yeah, actually, that's better. I can see everybody better, too. Hi, I'm Jerry Hasty, Seed Restaurant. Now, I just started in raw foods just a couple of years ago. I guess it's been about 3 years ago now. I used to be a lot bigger than I currently am right now. I was miserable. I did every diet known to man. I would drop 15, 20, 30 pounds and then gain 40 or 50. I mean, it was ridiculous. And I got to a point where after my 5th child, I gave up. I thought, this is what's happened. This is the way I am. And you love me or leave me kind of a thing. And I really wasn't happy, but I put on a good facade. And my daughter, been visiting her down in LA. We were both vegetarian, and she started on the raw diet first. And I was down visiting her, and she hadn't really told me yet. She was just testing it out, and I was like, what's going on with you? You're glowing. There's something. Is there a guy? What's happening here? And so she told me about it, and I thought, well, sure, I could do that for a couple of weeks, detox. What the heck? Well, 2 weeks later, I dropped 15 pounds. 6 months later, I dropped 60 pounds, and there was just no looking back. I mean, food had obviously always been my hobby, hence, the larger size of me. But so I just channeled that into learning about healthier foods and healthier options, and I took all of those wonderful foods that I used to love to eat and gorge myself on that weren't good for me, and I found healthy versions of those. The barbecue bacon cheeseburger, things along that nature. So, I ate chocolate pie every day. So who could not be excited when you turn your life around? And I tell you what, everybody I talk to in this raw universe has a story like that. Illness, or being overweight, or just feeling sluggish and icky and not motivated in their life, and so they find this, and it's a life-changing experience, as most of you in this room already know. I'm sure you all have your own personal stories as well. So, of course, being as excited as I am, I go down to LA to visit my daughter, and I'm a kid in a candy store down there. Raw food everywhere. She's in Santa Monica. Oh my goodness, we got Giuliano's, we got Revolution, we got Leaf, and then there's several others that we could even drive to. Those we could bike to. That's how close they were. So I come up here, and there at that time, Cafe Gratitude was not up here. I loved Cafe Gratitude in San Rafael, and I would go down and see them as often as I could. But the joke was I opened Seed because I was hungry, and so I really wanted a place to eat, and I enjoy going out to eat. So I thought, well, what the heck, I'm gonna open a restaurant. So that way I had my food. And that's what inspired me to do that. And since then, one of the most surprising things that I found, I opened that restaurant, it's, like I said, it's a joke because I was hungry, but really because, for vegans to have that option, or raw foodies to have that option.